March Madness tips off tomorrow, and two Bay Area teams will be dancing. Cal Bears going to play tomorrow, and the St. Mary's Gales are set to play on Friday. Sports host Marty Lenz joining me tonight to talk sports, and we are all set to talk college basketball. Welcome, Marty. But we're going to throw you into the mix with the NBA first.
Okay, sure.
All right, so we are getting reports tonight, and they seem to be more and more confirmed, that Monte Ellis of the Golden State Warriors has been traded. We have reports that the Milwaukee Bucks have traded Andrew Bogut and Steven Jackson to the Golden State Warriors. In exchange, Monte Ellis as well as Efe Udoh and Kwame Brown are supposed to go to Milwaukee. So we've got actually reaction. Our Comcast Sportsnet partners were the only ones in the locker room tonight, and Monte Ellis talked about it. So let's listen to that, and then we'll talk about the trade coming after that.
I mean, I had some great years here. I had some bad ones. But, I mean, just, thankful that I had the opportunity to do what I do for, the 7 years I was here. I started my career here. Did whatever I can. I mean, it's going in another direction. And, I mean, it was great to me, so I feel good.
All right, so what do you say? What do you think about that, Monte Ellis?
I think it's obviously a move for money more than anything else. Monte Ellis is, a lot of money. Great player. He'll fit in nicely with Brandon Jennings there in Milwaukee. I like Andrew Bogut as a player. Problem is he's probably not going to play the rest of this year. He's hurt. And Steven Jackson, he's kind of with all due respect, a malcontent. He hasn't been happy really anywhere he's been, going back to the days with the Pacers. So I don't know. I don't know how he's going to fit in here with Coach Mark Jackson. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm just not sure at this point what to really make of it.
Well, so if you've got a guy that you're hoping fits into the system and another guy who can't play at all, and then you've taken a couple of your top players and they're not with the team, what does this do for the Warriors? You limp along the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, Mark Jackson made the statement they were going to make the playoffs this year. They're 3 games out at this point. I don't see it happening now. I just really don't. So, I mean, it really is a wait and see with Andrew Bogut to see if he can get back to the level he was a couple of years ago. I think Steven Jackson, if he can fit in, and be happy and find, I guess, fun in the game again, I think he could be a weapon. But again, that's a wait to be seen situation.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, on to the NCAA. We've been talking about that. Cal, they're going to take on South Florida tomorrow evening. That's a play-in game. We know how important the point guard position is.
Absolutely.
Cal's got a couple of pretty good ones. How do you see it? We'll deal with the one game at a time. Play-in games first.
Right. Well, they always say conventional wisdom is that great guard play will lead to success in the NCAA tournament, as you alluded to. Alan Crabb and George Gutierrez, 2 very good guards. One is sophomore, one is senior. Both bring, good shooting skills. They're now averaging, 15 and 13 points respectively. Can dish the ball nicely. I like Cal in this game. I don't know how much further they can necessarily go, but I think they'll show that, hey, we should be in the field of 64 at the very least by getting by. But South Florida is going to be a pretty good team.
Right.
So, but yeah, great guard play. I've always been a fan of Alan Crabb. And Mike Montgomery, this is not his first rodeo. He's a good coach. We know what he did at Stanford. He knows how to coach these guys up. So I think they definitely can win this first game.
So then they get in and they move on and get into the regular
Get into the regular, right.
Okay, all right. Let's move on now to St. Mary's. Coach Randy Bennett has a very solid program. They've either been in the NCAA tournament or the NIT tournament, and usually they go a couple rounds in. In fact, they got to the Sweet 16 the last time they were in. What do you see this year? Are they that strong again or not?
Well, they got a lot of those guys returning. And we were talking about Andrew Bogut, who's an Aussie. Well, they have Matthew Dellavedova, another Aussie, and again, a guy that's a really solid player, good player. And they play good basketball in the West Coast Conference. I mean, I don't think there was a better conference in the Pac-12, with all due respect, a much better conference. They got 3 teams in, them, Gonzaga, and BYU. Also, Rob Jones, another good player. I like him against Purdue, though I think that's a really tough matchup. I think they should have gotten a better deal than what they got, but I mean, it's a game they can win.
Right.
But then after that, I think they got KU, and I think that probably ends there at that point.
So it's just the luck of the draw and what they've got to go through may mean a shorter trip this time.
Right. I think they're capable, but a lot of it is it's how you match up and sometimes who you get in those first and second rounds. I think of any of the situations, I think they got one of the worst luck, if you will, of some of the draws of any of the teams that are in there.
All right. So I noticed you've got your green and gold Colorado State.
Absolutely. Go Rams.
The Buffs are also in it.
Oh,
so
yes.
I don't know if we should even get into that right now. But there you go. There's when they're going to be playing March Madness. You see the schedules there. Who do you like in the Final Four of this?
Pretty much chalk, as they say. I mean, I have Kentucky. I have North Carolina. I have Ohio State. My only outlier, and I don't know if you can call them an outlier, they won the Big 12 tournament, Missouri. I think Missouri is a really fine team. So I like them. So I think they can get in there. But in the end, I have Kentucky and North Carolina.
What about Duke? They got upset.
Sure. Sure.
And in the end, they have to go in their bracket through Kentucky, and maybe that would be their undoing.
I don't think I have the horses. In fact, on my bracket, I have actually Duke getting upset by, well, you won't like this, UNLV, which means that they beat your alma mater. But Duke's good, but I just don't see them having the horses this year like I've seen the other teams. I mean, Kentucky really is heads and shoulders above everybody else. I would mention too, I liked Syracuse until they lost their player Fab Melo for academics. So he's a guy that, or Syracuse is a team I thought that could have gone far, but now I think that's going to stunt them too.
You talked about Kansas a moment ago. How far do you think they're going to go?
Again, I think they're a team that they definitely can get the Sweet 16, possibly the Elite 8. But again, I have them playing. They're going to go up against North Carolina in my bracket, and I just think
that's
North
another
Carolina,
tough one.
Right.
Who's a big upset? You know, that always happens. People have a big heavy favorite or something like that, and then a few of them always get knocked off in the first round, and that ruins your brackets for the whole thing.
Right.
Do you see any of those big upset
Sure.
games early?
I mean, I have not necessarily really early, but I have Michigan State not getting through. I have them getting upset in the round of 16. That's the first one that comes to mind. I guess you could say Syracuse a little bit. I have them getting 16, but then losing to Ohio State eventually. I don't see any. I mean, the 5-12 matchup is where you get the upsets, but none of those would really be considered major upsets, and I don't see a 116 at this point. So I think Cal may surprise some people because they're better than their seeding, but because of the perception of the Pac-12. But they got to get through South Florida.
They actually had a better record, so the Buffs won the Pac-12 tournament, but Cal had a better overall season record.
Correct.
They just happened to lose the tournament, and that dumped them down.
Right. Well, and then you can make the argument too. I mean, for teams that didn't make it, Washington. I mean, this is a kind of an anomaly in the standpoint they won the regular season Pac-12, but they didn't make the tournament, which. Mike Montgomery, again, he used to hate the tournament with the Pac-10. He says, I don't want one. He's the beneficiary of having one this year, but this is exactly why Coach Montgomery didn't want one. He always felt, well, the team that, based on your body of work for the regular season, not what you do in a tournament. And I feel the same way. I think Washington should get in there.
Right. Are you bold enough to make a winner-takes-all prediction yet? Who's the national champ?
Oh yeah, Kentucky.
You're going Kentucky?
I do. I mean, I like Kentucky. I think they have I think Missouri actually has the best bracket of any of them to get through. I feel until they get to probably the round of 8, and that gets a little more dicey. I really think Missouri has a more clear shot. But Kentucky, again, there's Kentucky. Maybe there was Syracuse prior Fab Melo. Everybody else, you kind of put that wet blanket over. I mean, I think Kentucky is just head and shoulders above everybody else.
Very good, Marty. Thanks a lot. And a reminder to everybody, the games you can check out this week. Cal is playing on Wednesday, so tomorrow night, and then St. Mary's and Purdue. That one is on at Friday night. And most all these games are televised. CBS has the rights.
CBS, True, and TNT. I believe.
So you can find them.
Right.
I think even TBS might have some too. But thanks a lot, Marty. We appreciate it. Good luck. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely.